Yeah.
Live na ni?
Yeah, but we're not gonna do anything yet. Okay, good afternoon, guys. Um, I'm your host, Jiggy Jr., and I am with Councilor Joel Garganera. And in about 5 minutes, we will start the interview, but I want you guys to please make sure you have some questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, especially about the issues about Cebu City, right? Well, atong tabangan sila og kaning maybe you can enlighten them, right?
Yeah,
Shed some light on some of the issues here in Cebu City, like kanang traffic,
Uh-huh.
which is one of the biggest problems that we have every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic, open spaces that you mentioned earlier during our conversation earlier about how we should plan the city and how it's not too late, maybe perhaps to do some changes with the waterways you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Flood.
the flood situation here in
Flood.
Cebu, and of course today is also the anniversary of uh, of the second lease on life of your family. Maybe we can
Yeah.
talk about what happened 4 years ago.
4 years.
Today, right, is the anniversary of that
Yeah.
4 years ago, and also the fact nga mura og you almost didn't make it. You know? And then there was a disqualification, right?
Yeah, you're
And
right.
then, so in a way, it's also a second lease on life, on
Public service.
on public service, right?
Yeah, right.
Kung wala pa to siya nahitabo, maybe we'd be doing this one every day, which is probably a good thing for the city too, to have such a smart and. Wait, I think tagak ko yun. Where do I put this? It always. So you guys, if you have some questions, okay, we're just fine-tuning everything here. Make sure you guys ask. Post it on. So where is it here? It's here.
Yeah.
That one.
Yes, yes.
There it is. Okay. Here we are. It's
Okay,
up.
so it's live na?
It's on Facebook
Ah,
Live.
good, good.
Hindi na matagag ba eh? It's not gonna fall. Sure ka? There's a delay.
1 minute.
1 minute delay. Okay. I'll just lower the volume.
Kung pa dyan kumahumanday o.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, please post your questions. You can do it now so we can sift through your questions and have the important questions asked. Later on, we will have a Q&A portion later on for the audience to be able to join us in this conversation of this Pilosopo podcast. Are we gonna begin already? Yeah? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pilosopo podcast. My name is Jiggy Jr. I'm your host. And today we have Councilor Joel Garganera, otherwise known as Panday. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Jiggy.
Welcome to the Pilosopo podcast. First and foremost, sir, ako gini pong tanon, sir, nimo, sir. How did you get that moniker Panday? Were you a carpenter back then? What happened?
Actually, I've been a barangay captain since 1989
Okay.
until my last term was in 2007. And from 2007 until 2013, I'm a barangay councilor.
Okay.
And when I ran again for barangay captain, I had this moniker like, ang pagbabalik ng Panday.
Okay.
Panday, the hero, the icon, refers to blacksmith. When we talk about Panday here in Cebu, it's like a carpenter, di ba?
Yeah, but Fernando po Jr.
Yeah.
Who played Panday, right?
But then I refer more on Panday as a doer.
Okay.
No, something that out there to accomplish something. No, so that was the moniker, ang pagbabalik ng Panday, and I regained my seat back. No, and then when I ran for city councilor, so it's a nice. People tend to to associate with
But
it.
you don't carry around a sundang, right? Because in your posters you're carrying a sundang. You don't do that, right?
I do carry an imaginary sword.
An imaginary sword. Thank goodness it's just imaginary. So that's your alter ego, the Panday.
The Panday.
But who is the real Joel Garganera? In a nutshell, sir, tell us about your spiritual, your educational, your personal background that has led you to who you are, where you are now at this moment here at the Pilosopo podcast, a city councilor, a sitting city councilor, second term. Take us through who you are and what led you to become who you are today.
Well, I live in Barangay Tinago.
Okay.
That's in the port area.
Okay.
And then in my elementary, I was a student of Colegio del Santo Niño. I was an altar boy then.
Altar boy.
And then way back then when I was an elementary student, right across our school that was City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, like, perhaps in the future I'm going to have my office there.
Really?
And that was just a dream. And then in high school, we went to the same school in UP, and college also in UP. I graduated in a course of AB Political Science.
Okay.
And a year after that, I was 21 years old when I ran for barangay position. And way back then, they have a collegial system.
Okay.
Everybody runs for barangay councilor. And the candidate that garnered the most number of votes will automatically be the barangay captain. And that was, the time I was the youngest barangay captain then, at 21 years old. And right after that, I was really baptized with fire because the worst typhoon that really hit Cebu, the Typhoon Ruping.
Okay.
I was a student of law at that time, and then I really had to juggle my time between the student and being a barangay captain.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I gave up the other one. So I focused more on public service.
So you were supposed to take up law.
Yeah.
And then you gave that up and focused on public service.
Yeah, the thing is, right after Typhoon Ruping, I was already a student of law. I was also sent to Japan as a JICA scholar to immerse there about their social services and everything. Right after that, there was an election, and then one thing leads to another, so it drifted apart. No, my father really wants me to become a lawyer, but well, things. And for 24 years, I was a barangay captain, and within that period of time, starting in 2001, I ran for city councilor. But three consecutive elections, I did not make it to top 8. I was number 9 consistently. No, I was number 9.
I remember you guys, you and Jack were all.
Yeah. That was in 2001.
Neck in neck, right?
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you had like a running bet, right?
Yeah.
Of some sort.
I'm asking you, where did you put your bet there at the time? Or were you with Jack, or did you?
Well, I was actually torn between two friends.
No, who to bet for? I abstained from betting in that particular year, election year.
That was really a hotly contested.
It was a nail biter, right?
Yeah. But anyway, that's thing in the past.
Okay.
Jack and I are in good relationship anyway.
Okay.
And it was only in 2016 when it's my 4th attempt
Okay.
that I made it, and I was number 8.
Okay.
And then I was number 8, and then when I again filed my certificate of candidacy a few months ago, and that was it. I was number 8 in my COMELEC number, and I was aspiring for number 8, and then it turned out during the election I ranked number 10.
Okay.
But then again I was number 8.
Okay.
After a few weeks, I was then back to my old position, which is number 8.
Okay.
So, well, if, 2 hours after the ballot was closed, I conceded. No?
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook page. You conceded, yeah.
I conceded. I always look at it that way. Like, there's always time to fight another day. And then, well, fate leads that, I was tasked to regain my post back, and then here I am.
Is this what you really wanted? I mean, like that little boy in Colegio del Santo Niño looking at the building, the city hall back then, just across your school. Was that little boy dreaming about this exact moment for you to become maybe perhaps a government official, an elected government official. Are those thoughts, would you remember the thoughts of that little boy that looked at City Hall and where you are now? Was that the same exact boy?
Well, way back then, I really not aspired to be a leader or to effect some change around. But I was a Boy Scout of the Year at the time.
Boy Scout of the Year.
Boy Scout of the Year.
Okay, okay.
And I went to all the jamborees and everything, and the leader. And then in my high school, I was also a top-ranking leader in our Boy Scout organization.
Okay.
And also in my college days, I was into fraternity, so I did not focus more on the academics there. But I graduated on time.
I don't know if this is a correct assessment, but I felt like I overheard stories about you being a troublemaker back in college, man. Was that a true story?
No, that's not a
Is that a myth? Were you a troublemaker?
No, me?
Yeah?
I'm a funny guy.
You're the funny guy.
Yeah,
You're the,
way back then, your job right now,
Yeah.
I was the one who is the official MC in all activities in UP.
Ah, okay.
No? And then when you emerge, then I'm out of the picture. You took my job.
so well, I didn't.
You're the troublemaker.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, I didn't know that. So you were the troublemaker back in college. You wouldn't consider that.
I was a victim of circumstance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you a victim of circumstance. That's what all troublemakers would say, right? So that in a nutshell is Joel Garganera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's me. You know?
4 years ago today, something nearly a tragic incident happened to you and your family. In fact, today is what you called a celebration of your second life.
Yeah.
Tell us about what we're celebrating today with you and your family. Go ahead, sir.
You know what? What transpired to my family like 4 years ago?
That event, I really want to forget it. No, but then
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But I keep on celebrating our day, just to remind us, life is so fleeting. If something happens and it will be taken away from you, so you have to do the best you can, in your day-to-day life. But I think way back then, my daughter arrived from the States from her study. No, they had this. They were immersed in some school there in New York.
Okay.
And then when she arrives, she had a problem with one of my niece in Leyte, who has a suicide. There's a problem. So she brought some gift, and then she told me like a week of stay here. She said like I want to go to Leyte. I want to visit my cousin. And then later in the afternoon, I told her, why don't we go there together? With my other 3 kids and her best friend,
To
Shaira.
Leyte.
To Leyte.
Okay.
My family are from Leyte.
Originally, okay.
Originally. And then we took the boat, and then we're on the rear side of a certain class in the boat. And when we dock at Ormoc City, we know it docked because we heard something like, we already docked. And then few minutes, I saw people like running, and I thought like, they were trying to catch up for a bus. But then when I saw the door, there was smoke coming inside our accommodation. So when I open it, like you cannot see anything. It's so dark, it's full of smoke. And I woke them up, like saying, no, you get your things, we'll go out. And then when we were about to go out, my God, you cannot see anything. So it was so hot, so we went back to where we are. And then I saw my son, whom I rely because he's the only boy aside from me. He had this hubak, so asthma, yeah. And then he was weak, and I look at my daughter. He was like trying to sleep.
So you were in effect trapped in your room.
We were trapped
because
and then,
there was a smoke billowing everywhere, and there was
Yeah.
fire, from what I understand.
yeah. And then my wife was trying to break the small window.
Yeah, there's a small
Yeah.
glass window in
then,
a boat, right?
I saw what is outside.
What did you see outside?
There was fire from a distance, and then everything was smoke.
The fire was in the boat?
Inside the boat.
Inside the boat.
Inside the boat.
But from afar.
From afar. Like
Okay.
Perhaps around 10 meters away.
Okay.
And then I was torn between two things. Like, if we go out, there's the fire there, or I still have this belief like it will be torn off. Perhaps we're gonna be safe here. But then when the smoke starts to get in, and the only visual thing I see was, because the aircon is still functioning, when it blows, that's the only. So I talked to my kids, I talked to my wife, like, just hold on. I was really very desperate. Then just hold on. You follow my voice. Whatever happens, don't break. Let's hold on to each other.
You were
And
holding to each other's hands inside the room, or were
inside-
you walking out? Already?
inside the room first. I was giving them instruction,
Okay.
like it could be my last
Okay.
talk to them.
Okay.
Like, because we never know what happened.
Okay.
When we start to, I try to open the door and go, and then I said, just follow my voice, just follow my voice. I have my youngest daughter beside me, and then when we went out, like it was really dark, it was hot, and then I just overheard my wife say, I'm lost, I'm lost, I'm lost, and then my other son, but I'll go back to mama, like, if I'm gonna stop there, like, to help my wife, like, my daughters might suffocate and we might fall down. It could be a big problem. I just keep on going and going, and then, well, we're walking, and then I overheard my son like, I got mama. So we went out, and then when we went out of the ship already,
So you're able to get out of the
we
ship
went out of the
unscathed.
ship. Yeah.
Unscathed.
And then people were not aware what's transpired at the rear portion of the boat. No, when we went down, and we saw the ship, the entire vessel engulfed in flame, and then it was really a total destruction there.
Okay, really?
It was a total, And then while we were sitting down there, there are some people who approach us like thanking me, not because of what I told to my daughter. My family, they were there listening beside us because they have difficulty also in going out. When they hear me talk, like they got so inspired about it, and then they went through with us. There were 6 of them. Like we, because of us, we were
So
able
that
to
was
save them.
suffice it to say, that was a near-death experience for you and your family.
Yeah.
So what was running through your mind? What was going through your mind at that moment when you thought that you didn't know whether you're going to live to see another day? What was
Yeah.
going through your mind at that time, inside the room that you were staying in?
Like you have to think fast. You have to think fast. Like
You mentioned that you were about to break the glass. Did you
yeah,
break the glass?
No. You can. It's very impossible there.
Right.
Like, you have to do something. You have to think fast, and then perhaps it would be okay if you're all by yourself. But once you are there with your family, you get to do something. You get to do something. Like I don't know if we're gonna make it there, out there. Like, I really don't know. I mean, when we found out like we're all safe and everything, like, God's there, help us. And
Would you consider that a miracle of some sort?
Yeah. We're blessed. We're very thankful because one false move that could kill us all there. So, but thank God, and then, that experience made
Thank God.
that experience make our bond stronger,
as a family.
And then I told them, like, if we surpass this, which we did, like, we can surpass any difficulties in life, any challenges. That's why when a few months ago, when the decision that I cannot make it, I was in one place. The first thing I do was I call all my kids. We meet in one place, and I embrace them, like, there's life after this. And then, I take it, okay.
You're just grateful to be alive, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we're so blessed. We should not forget that we have to be thankful of all the blessings that.
Would you consider yourself a man of faith, sir?
Yeah.
Because I read in your Facebook page when you celebrated the anniversary that you had all these, God and Mother Mary and everybody to thank of this miracle.
Well, I'm not really
that you mentioned.
I'm not really that religious. I don't know what's your concept of being religious. I have my faith in God, and then I talk to Him. I pray every day, and then as long as you're fair in your treatment with people around, with your family, I think that's
Based on your educational background, we actually have a similar educational background. I was also from Colegio del Santo Niño, Yeah, and then that's a very religious school. I was also like you, a choir boy and an altar boy.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. And then I think what happened to us in our educational life was UP sort of like ruined it for us.
We don't pray. We don't pray.
Spiritually, right?
We don't pray, in Santo Niño.
That's what my mom always says, because you went to UP, that's why you don't pray and all that stuff. So would you consider yourself a man of faith? And that what happened to you in that boat 4 years ago was nothing short of a miracle? Would you say that?
I would say it was short of a miracle because, I had a party the night before.
Okay.
And then there were beers around, but I only consumed 3 beers.
Okay.
Just imagine if I consumed like 5, 8 beers.
You would have been hungover, right?
Yeah, and not only that, I could sleep,
Yeah, okay,
oversleep.
okay.
And then, it's just good. Like I drink a little, and then I was watching from the laptop of my daughter.
One of the things that I'm thinking about, right? Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here, but the story that I always I'm thinking about right now, based on what I hear from you, is, when an airplane crashes and 98 people die and 3 people survive, they call it a miracle.
Uh-huh.
God saved those 3 people. But what about the 98 people who died? What's a miracle about that? So what are your thoughts on what happened to you? Because you have your own brush with a near-death experience and brush with death, and you call that a miracle of some sort. What are your thoughts on that? When 98 people die and 3 people survive, they call that a miracle. Why didn't God save the entire airplane in the first place, right? Why did they just leave 3? Why is that a miracle? What happened to the 98?
Well,
that's always a philosophical question that I'm grappling with every time. They say it in the headlines. It was a miracle that 1 people survived. But wait a minute, whoa, not too fast. How about the 100 people who died? Is that a miracle too?
They deserve it. What?
Yeah, exactly. So, what are your thoughts on that, sir? I just wanted to know your spiritual views on
Well,
that.
I think that was the time already for the pilot.
Okay.
And it just turned out that he was the one maneuvering the airplane, and
Okay.
then it was his time, and then the 98 was just a consequence of his.
So would you consider that a miracle that 3 people survived?
Well, statistically speaking, like if you were able to survive out of a big group,
Okay.
then that's something. You're it's a miracle for you. That
You got lucky, right?
You get lucky. You get lucky, but I don't know what's the terminology for those who were not able to get down there alive. No, so. Well, that's fate. You're only up there.
So, Faith, tell us about your faith, sir. Like you mentioned that you're not really a very religious person, but you do talk to God.
Yeah.
And you
be
have,
fair in your treatment
yeah,
around. That's
yeah,
it. No,
yeah.
no, they're. I don't want to impose my belief to others, but
But would you consider yourself a Catholic?
I'm a Catholic.
Okay, okay.
I'm a Catholic.
Okay.
I go to church every Sunday,
Okay.
and well, before there were 5 of us. We do the rosary, and each of my kids, they have there are 5 kuanman, and then we do share in our rosary. But right now it's my wife who is the very prayerful every day, every morning, every afternoon, and my kids we didn't practice that much anymore. But we do pray together. We go to church together.
Okay,
But
okay.
and kids they're more on where do we go after a church?
How has your faith system influenced you as a counselor, as a politician, even as a barangay captain years ago as well? How has it influenced you? Does that seep in through your system when you deal with problems, for example, situations in government, for example? Is that in your mind as well, or you leave that out the door?
Yeah, I leave that out of the door. Like I'm practical. Like when I see a problem, I never really hang on to the Almighty there to wait for the solution.
Okay.
But I always believe if we do something. We can achieve something. We can if we try to solve a problem. We not just wait for it to solve on its own. We have to do something. And then you don't pray to get what you want. No, you just ask for guidance. No, you have to ask for confidence. You have to ask for your drive. No, but it's not just like you were able to get this because you pray. No, no, no. You have to work for it. You have to work for it. And
You know, people of faith always believe that there's another place that they're going to go to after everything is said and done, right? What does your belief tell you about the afterlife? What do you think? Are you going to go to a fluffy, cold place with
you go back to Earth and be a mammal.
a mammal? Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe in living in perpetual happiness in heaven? What are your thoughts on that?
I never think of that.
Huh?
To me, this is the life, and then you prepare yourself for today and tomorrow.
Okay.
It's not like prepare yourself after life. No, as long as you're fair in your dealings, you spread love. I mean, to me, this is heaven.
This is heaven.
Heaven
is a place on earth, as that song
yeah.
from Belinda Carlisle would put it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's how you make life.
Okay.
If you want to make hell,
So it doesn't bother you,
like me going to hell,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Huh?
no, because I believe there's hell. I mean, I think I will skip that place now.
Or maybe you're already used to that.
Well, there's already hell when we were there in the ship.
Okay.
Where there's fire. That's
Maybe
hell already.
maybe hell is also a place on earth, right?
Yeah. I surpass it already. We survive it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sir, you mentioned earlier that because we're having a sort of like a faith discussion here. You mentioned earlier when we were talking off the air that there's a place in Plaza Independencia that
Yeah.
ang tinunay yung mga pilosopo to dito. Can you explain that to me, because I was shocked actually to hear that there's actually a place where people actually can talk about and hash out their differences in a public square, right? In Plaza Independencia, no less. So tell me what happens there.
Actually, originally,
That debate happens at Freedom Park.
Okay.
That right across Colegio del San Jose.
Okay.
That's a
Ng Carbon, di ba?
Carbon.
that used to be a freedom park.
Okay.
And people with the different belief and religion, they go there to debate.
Okay.
That their God is the right God.
Are these the same people that go there over and over again, or these are different characters every time?
Every time, no, they're mainstay there.
Okay.
And right now, because as you can see there in Carbon, it's already very congested. They transfer for quite a while already.
Okay.
Perhaps around 10, 20 years ago. They're at Plaza Independencia. I invite you every afternoon, especially a Friday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. It's not few people. You're talking about 30, 40, 50 people trying to listen, of different faith. And then, I got to listen to them, and then it's not more on like, you associate it with your belief, but their argumentation and debate, the way of the Pilosopo,
The real Pilosopos.
Naagi dito ba? It's there, and I want you to cover it one of these days.
Yeah, I
it's
will.
really,
I definitely
it's really
will.
fun. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It's really fun. Like tanan. Did you see your God?
Did you see your God?
You say see is to believe.
Yeah.
So how come you have to see your God?
I will make you see your God. Or
like
something
our
like that.
belief is the way.
Yeah,
because if you're not coming with us, then you're not going to heaven.
Yeah,
you know where heaven is. Grabe nyo kayo.
So you don't feel offended, for example, that your beliefs, for example, because you believe in a higher power, you believe in a God. Dili ka murag ma-offended sometimes nga when people sort of like denigrate or maybe like look down or maybe like your God doesn't exist and all that stuff. Well, how do you feel about that when your beliefs are being attacked?
No, that's his problem. Perhaps the guy has that's his problem.
Okay.
No? It's not mine. No,
Okay.
I'm confident with my belief. Then it is not for him to impose to me, nor I will impose my belief to him. So it's like peaceful coexistence. No, I mean, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't
Because
bother
that's one of the things that we have to realize, that as a people we're a Christian city, right? A Christian country for that matter, Christian nation, and we are mostly Catholic. And in whatever it is that we do, we always include that in our system of whatever. Like when you walk in the streets, when you go to work, it's always there. So you understand your people better based on what they believe in, right? So you'll be able to deal with them, I guess, a lot better and a lot more easier if you know what they believe in. So running a city is also part of that. I think knowing what your people believe in, right? So let's move into that field of your life, which is politics, right? I'm curious. Why do you think being a politician is the best way to serve your people? Why not do something else? Why not, be in the private sector? Why not, build a company that helps a lot of people? Why did you decide to go into public service in the first place?
Well, both of my grandparents are politicians.
Okay.
Both of my lolos are mayors.
Okay.
In the different towns in Leyte.
Okay.
And I grew up like knowing them
Okay.
to be in public service.
Okay.
And what really transpired in our family was also quite tragic. The next generation, from my lolo in St. Bernard and my other mayor lolo in Calubian, Leyte, the next generation, my uncle and my auntie, sister and brother of my parents, they also served as public servants, and it was very tragic. Both of them died. They were killed.
Really?
Actually, during campaign.
Wow.
One, my auntie was shot. No, she's a lady. She was shot.
In Leyte?
In Leyte.
Okay.
And my uncle, during one of the benefit dance during campaign, he was stabbed many times.
Okay. And both of them died?
Both of them died.
Okay. This was back in the 80s?
Oh,
70s?
late 70s.
Okay.
And early 80s.
Okay.
And early 80s. And I was a child then, and I used to campaign for them.
Wow.
I was in
That should have discouraged you, right?
Yeah. They
So
were-
why risk your life?
Yeah. And then, I was studying here, and then I was very active already in the youth organization in my barangay, especially in my sitio in Bagumbayan. I was a president already of the chapel at age of 18.
Okay.
No, so
Did you aspire to become
No.
to become a president of that particular organization?
Well, I want to do something.
Okay.
I want to make.
or Fiesta Lively.
Okay.
I want to, I want to talk a lot of people and make a difference. And then 2 years thereafter, there was an election in the barangay. And then they said, why don't you represent the youth? But there was no election for KB at the time. So it was collegial. Everyone runs for
Everyone runs for?
barangay councilor.
Okay.
And the councilor that garnered the most number of votes will be the barangay captain.
Okay.
There was no direct voting for the position.
okay.
So that's how I became a barangay captain.
This was in
89
in Tinago, right?
in Tinago.
Tinago.
So
Barangay Tinago.
And one thing leads to another. I love being with people. I love
So suffice it to say, it's in your DNA, right? Yeah.
because
To-
both of my
public service
both
is in your DNA.
my lolo
So if you didn't win
there in
uh,
89.
89, or maybe if you didn't win in this particular election, would you still be in public service, or would you be doing something else? Granting,
I'll be doing something else.
but would it still be related to public service?
Well, public service, no. Well, at that time, tell you frankly, right after that fateful night, after the election, I told my kids, like, I think I did something already.
Okay.
I mean, I did 30 years of public service. I believe, like, I'll concentrate on you guys. No, I have to take another path. No, it's never too late.
Okay.
It's never too late. And my other son in the States, well, to tell you frankly, he petitioned me for
Okay, immigration.
immigrant. No,
Uh-huh.
he's already a U.S. citizen there. But God, no, I stay here. No, I
So
stay here.
you're already planning your exit from the scene, right? From the political
Yeah,
scene.
could be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an
So
option.
what would you have been doing now if you weren't in politics? I'm just curious. What would it be?
There's always a lot of job around there.
Yeah, but would you have gravitated to a certain kind of industry, a certain kind of
Yeah.
job? Like what, for example?
I'm not at liberty to tell you. Like
Sexy dancer, macho dancer?
No, the airport for one. The airport for one.
Airport, okay.
Yeah. I was a consultant way back before they put up the
Airport?
there.
Okay.
So I have a consultant basis my job there, so I could work there full time.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
and many others.
Many others.
I have many options.
Okay.
I have many options. So
That's
I
good.
think I can contribute whatever business or whatever endeavor I can engage myself.
You know, in the same way that the word Pilosopo has a bad rap, right? Kana sang word nga politician or politika. That's also a bad word, right?
Tinood yun.
And you can't blame the public as well
You're right.
for thinking that, because mura ganing sige papolitik ka. No, nobody does anything, walay mahimo because sige lang papolitik ka. It's really a bunch of compromise, right? It's the art of compromise. Like you have to make sure that all voices are heard. That's how you can move forward, right? And ang word yun attached to a politician is liar, right? Like there's a line in the song from Coldplay that goes something like never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world. Now that I'm a private citizen, now I can live truthfully. What are your thoughts on that, sir, about not being honest with a lot of things, because there's a lot of compromise involved, and you can't tell them exactly all your cards, because you have to please this guy or please that group. What are your thoughts on politicians not being totally honest or being liars, to be blunt about it?
You know what? To me, my experience, if you try to please everyone, that will be your very own downfall.
Okay.
You have to accept the fact that every move you take, every decision you're gonna make, it's very impossible to please everyone. A sector will go against you, and then these are facts. No? These are natural occurrence. So to me, if you try to please everyone, this is not a popularity contest. Right?
Well,
if you want to get things done,
it is actually a popularity contest in the elections,
but,
right?
But if you want to get things done, you have to draw the line.
Okay.
Or you want to be a politician, or you want to be a public servant.
Okay.
No? To me, I want to be a public servant.
Okay.
I want to effect change that, perhaps the best legacy we could live in the city is, you could do something that will make our life
Just a little bit better, right?
Yeah, better. No?
So are you telling me now, and our friends watching this podcast right now on Facebook, you don't do that. You don't compromise your stance on things, and you're steadfast about it, and you don't lie to them. You don't tell them half truths and all that stuff, just because you don't want to displease, or you don't want somebody to feel bad about certain things.
There are factors that plays its role there. Like it's not telling them the truth, no, at once. But timing has got to do something about it.
Timing. Okay.
When you say something, the truth, the naked truth, and the timing is not good, we just create more problem there.
Okay.
You have to give it piece by piece in such a way that people can understand.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Sometimes the truth
It
requires
hurts.
time to be understood, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the people have to be ready for certain truths, right? So you're saying now that you don't give them the full truth immediately.
But it doesn't make you a liar.
Okay.
It doesn't make you a liar.
Of course not,
It's
no.
just that the effect when you say something, you're being blunt about it, you will not get what you want.
Okay.
No, you have to do it in such a way that people can understand.
Okay.
People can understand, and slowly, it's not you giving them on what to do, telling them on what to do, but they will form part of the solution. It's just like information. Information leads to education, and when people are already educated, it will be easy for you to mobilize them on what road to take, what decisions gonna be made.
Okay.
It's not you giving them the solution. It's like you have to make them part of it. You have to make them part of it, and then by doing this, you have to tell them.
Okay. So you're not a liar. Joel Garganera ain't a liar. I just wanted to make that clear, right?
Yeah.
You don't
I
lie.
I do lie.
Okay.
I do lie every now and then. Like when I arrive home late and my wife say, "Where have you been?" Church.
So another word that gets connected and attached to politica or politicians or politics is corruption, right?
Yes.
Money is such a crucial cog in this whole political system, right? What are your thoughts on corruption? People are saying Ganahan ka mo dato bay dagan lang kuan bay political ato na kas politika bay. Be a politician, be in government because you have a lot of opportunities there. What are your thoughts on corruption and politics or being in government?
Well, I really don't blame people when they refer politicians as,
Corrupt.
synonymous to corrupt.
Okay.
You know? Because perhaps if I'm an ordinary person and not into government, when I look around, when I get stuck in traffic,
Okay.
when I cannot walk in sidewalk, when I see garbage around,
Okay.
and when it rain, it flood, then there must be something wrong. There must be something
Okay.
wrong, you know? When there's not too much food on the table, there must be something wrong,
Yeah.
you know? And why are we importing rice when we used to be a rice producer before? There must be something
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
You know?
So-
So it's not just inefficiency in governance, but there must be corruption along the way.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And the leaders must have compromise because there's money on the other side. You know, they
This is the age of information, right? We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to expose corruption. Is corruption now in this age of information less? Is it more? Is it still status quo? What are your thoughts on that, sir? I know you don't have the statistics to show me but how do you just in City Hall alone? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? Is it the same? What?
Well, it's too early to tell.
Okay.
It's too early to tell. But if we
No, but in
if
your
we-
previous term, yeah.
Well, to me, if we suffer the same, environment, surroundings, I think we're not able to solve it.
Okay.
No, we have too much money, perhaps, to address all these issues, and I just don't know why we can't deliver it.
Okay.
No, and perhaps with the stewardship of our mayor Edgar Labella, and he's a pro people, and then we give him time to address all these issues. May it be in the environment, may it be may it be in social services. So we give him time, and we're here to help him to achieve those goals, and I believe in him, and then just wait. We're on that direction.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is money is a crucial factor in elections, right? Especially in elections, right? And if you don't have the money, you're not going to win. Is that a true assessment, sir? Is that a true statement? Kung wa kay kwarta, ano lang dagan kay wa kay pag-asa kay you have to do all these things that require a lot of money, including vote buying, including placing ads on radio stations, on TV stations, billboards, and all that stuff. That requires a lot of money. And sometimes being a government official does not pay enough for you to be able to afford all those things that are required to win an election. More bang na imbalance ba nga? The cost to run is so high, and your sweldo is just here. Has that been equalized somehow?
Yeah,
Mas barato na ang pagdagan o niya taas na inyong sweldo or pareha ra gyapon, sir? What do you
No,
think?
I mean, running these days,
Oh.
if I compare it like 20 years ago, it's different. Running for a public position nowadays entails a lot of expense. No, not to mention time, resources, and the way you run your campaign. And there are also other aspects, like if you might have the money, but you don't have the thing that connect to the voters,
Yeah.
so it goes to waste also.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's never a guarantee that if you have money, that you will be able to make it. But if you have the same material and the other has all the resources, it has a better chance of,
So ang maayong nga kandidato, ang maayong nga politician with money has a bigger chance of winning than somebody who has all the money in the world but has no X factor, has no connection with the voters,
no
right?
connection, like
Yeah.
Sir,
Sir,
people
you've been a barangay captain for such a long time. You've been a councilor for such a long time. You've been out there really in the field, like shaking hands and talking to people and all that stuff. What have you learned, sir, from your political life, campaigning out there? What do you learn? And what are the longings? What are the desires? What are the wishes of our fellow Cebuanos out there? Unsa may ilang mga aligut-gut, unsa ilang mga ganahang buhaton silang kinabuhi. Unsa man give us a sneak peek, sir.
Well, to me, I'm not there just to make myself popular.
Okay.
I'm not there. I'm not there to like me.
Okay.
I'm there to do what is ought to be done.
Okay.
Like during my being a barangay captain for the longest time, Pier 3, port area, that's where bad elements used to hang out.
Okay.
And during my term, I would say I would almost erratically,
So may-
eliminate them. No.
So may nakatunan mo, sir, from talking to ordinary people.
Well, you should know their language, their condition and everything. Like when I impose peace and order in my place, I have to be really tough about it. During those times, I said to myself, I'd rather be feared than be loved.
Yeah, yeah.
So that anything that I will say will be treated seriously. That's what Lee Kuan Yew said. No? So you have to do what is there to be done.
You're talking about your time as a barangay captain,
I am
right? In Tinago, right?
Yeah. And it comes with a price. When it comes with a price. When you eradicate your place with bad elements, when you eradicate your place
So you
with
would
gamble,
You would consider yourself a tough barangay captain.
I have to be
Yeah.
a toughie then. I have to be a toughie then. And what did I get in return? I have 11 warrant of arrest.
Oh, okay.
I have.
Have you seen a jail cell? Have you gone in?
I've never been there because I
You got good legal help.
I have Pablo Jan and the rest. I have 11 lawyers. anyway.
Your UP
And then
friends, right?
I have to put up funds for my bail.
Okay.
20 years ago.
Okay.
Amount to like $500,000 pesos.
Okay.
It's gonna be tough when you do what you want. You really have to
Be tough,
stand
right?
for it. You have
Okay.
to be tough for it. And I
So
was
the same toughness that you had in Barangay Tinago, sir, cannot be applied in a bigger scale now that you're a city councilor. Can you also still be as tough as you were 20 years ago in Barangay Tinago?
If you believe what you stand for.
Okay.
When I became a city councilor 3 years ago, one of the problems that confront the city was the stench in the south area.
Okay.
Because emitted by the landfill. It was closed in the
Inaywan
previous
landfill, right?
It was closed by the previous administration only to be reopened for I don't know what reason.
Okay.
So I was there. There were complaints already from people around in the area for the stench emitted, the odor and everything, and
Okay.
not to mention that it spoils the environment, the water around, the soil, the
Okay.
air and everything. But the mayor was very adamant there.
Okay.
And for 2.5 months, I've been delivering speeches in the city council, passing resolution, urging the mayor to close it. But he told me you better file the case. But really, I stretched all my patience and everything for the mayor to come to an understanding, and eventually I filed the case.
So you went to court,
I went to court.
and did you win that case?
I won the case.
Okay.
No, it's not me who won the case. It's the environment.
Okay.
I was fighting for the environment.
Okay.
The future generation, including the unborn.
Okay.
No? And then we won it there, and the Court of Appeals, we call it the writ of kalikasan.
Okay.
Only to be elevated to the Supreme Court because
Okay.
the mayor said the lower court committed an error in closing the landfill. And good, there in the Supreme Court, unanimously, all the justices was in favor of the decision
To close the
to close
Inaywan
the
landfill.
To close the Inaywan landfill. So,
You have been Tommy Osmena's pebble in his shoe for such a long time, right?
for almost 3 decades.
3
Brad.
decades now. You have been the pebble in his shoe, but now, as it turns out, the shoe is now being removed and the pebble is still there. So it must give you some form of some sort of a great feeling now that you've removed the shoe and you're still there, a pebble. What are your thoughts on your your battle between the former mayor and yourself? Now that he's not here, do you feel some sort of satisfaction?
You know what? I learned a lot from him also. He's a smart mayor.
Okay.
No, I used to idolize him during the early part
Yeah.
of his term. In fact,
They call that Tommy Osmena 1.0, version 1, yeah?
yeah.
He was a pretty badass mayor during his first
Yeah,
few
but
years,
he
right?
gets everything done.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was his partner during the grouping.
Yeah.
And then I got to listen to him talk. He was like radical way back then. And then new ideas. He comes from the stage,
yeah.
and they have different way of looking at things.
Yeah, yeah.
He's strict, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And then we have this mutual respect. And every election in my barangay, there's always an opponent. You know, he always put me an opponent, but I take it as a challenge. You know, perhaps if he was not there, I would not
So
be.
where did it all start? This whole battle between you and the mayor. Asa mo gid ni gasugod, sir? Was there like a root cause of this all?
There were people around him who doesn't like me, and then there was a time that we were close. We drink together, and then
With Tommy?
with Tommy, and
Okay.
then there were people around who tried to, make the, put a gap between us.
So it wasn't really him who didn't like you. It was people around him. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. It could be also be him.
Okay.
It could also be him. But it was I treasure those moments.
Okay.
Also. And then it was nice to me. And then 10 years thereafter, we might be on the opposite side of the political fence, and then we just more on issues. It was just like that, no. And then when you have Tommy on the other side, you have to study harder. You have to prepare yourself. But he's also very smart. He's savvy also with the media. And then when I became a city councilor, and we have this problem about garbage and everything.
Okay.
So you have to equip yourself with the necessary knowledge and information.
Okay.
Because you have a well-informed and a good communicator.
Okay.
In Tommy Osmena.
I think they're telling us to talk to the audience. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. I have one more question for you, sir, and then we'll read some of the questions here on Facebook Live. Okay. So the pebble in Tommy Osmena's shoe is still here, but the shoe is no longer with us. At least he's
For
been
the time being.
For the time being.
We'll never know.
We will never know, right? That's the beauty of politics. You can still resurrect, right? You can still redeem yourself, rise like the phoenix. One of the other stories about the city, and especially that involves you, is your partnership with the former Lahug Barangay Captain Marianna de los Santos, right? Marianna de los Santos, right? You guys you guys were party mates before. You guys were pretty close. We could see that. And what happened to that relationship as well? I mean, like she ran for vice mayor under Tommy Osmena's camp. What happened to that? How did you guys lose her from your party to his? What happened? What's the story there?
I myself also wasn't able to believe when it happens. No, that was way back in 2013 when I became a barangay captain, and perhaps a few months thereafter.
Okay.
I wasn't even informed by her personally about her jumping to the other side of the political fence.
Okay.
No? So when she does that, and that started all. When she does that, when she jumped to the other boat, and that's where the communication is no longer there.
So there was no resistance. You did not try to pull her back. Because I think Marianna Los Santos is a terrific politician, right? He was very good at what she did and what she's doing now, and there was no resistance on your part to try to bring her back. Well, you gave up already. Like, what happened?
Well, me going to side with Tommy. I mean, I'd rather stop. I'd rather stop being a politician or being a public servant. It's in the fact that she transferred without telling me. Well, I don't have to be a part of it. And then
what was that? Political survival? What was that?
I really don't know. It's only her who can.
Okay.
I cannot expound other than that. She left us. No, so that was it. And then somehow the relationship gets strange.
Okay.
It perhaps gets strange because we no longer talk to each other.
Okay.
And it's better that way. It's better that way. It's a peaceful coexistence when we bump to each other. We say hi. Like 4 years ago, we bumped during the. We were in the swimming category of the Ironman.
Okay.
And we bumped each other there. And
But this was last year.
no, that was
2 years ago.
3 years ago.
So you bumped into each other.
And
What did you guys say when
said,
Marianne and you bumped into each other? What did you guys say?
I said, you know.
You iron woman. You.
I said, you good luck. You have to stay safe, no?
Okay.
Swim safe.
So nothing about what happened. You didn't talk about.
No, we embrace each other. No
okay.
problem with that. And then
So-
we wish each other we'll finish the race.
Okay.
You know? So and luckily we did.
Okay.
You know, we did. So well, we're very close. It's
Okay.
public knowledge then.
Okay.
But that, things happen. Things happen, and then she believes that she can do something more in the other side, and I said, I can do something more here, and then we don't have it together in order to advance what we really want for the city.
We have some questions here on our Facebook page live. One of the questions here that stood out is, what are your programs for the youth of Cebu? Do you have anything in mind for the youth of Cebu? Not just you, but maybe perhaps what is the city looking at in terms of its youth? We have a lot of young viewers watching us, listening to us right now, sir.
Well, to me, youth should, they should believe that they should be part of the whole.
Okay.
No, well, during the previous administration, the mayor was very popular with the millennials.
Okay.
No, when you talk about the youth, we're talking here of the millennials.
Okay.
And then they envision him as a visionary.
Okay.
I really don't know why. I mean, they're the ones who complain about traffic. They're the ones who complain about being stuck with flood. They're the ones complaining about the garbage around. And then you try to associate yourself with someone who is visionary, who's been a mayor for the last 30 years. And where are we right now? Is this the vision that he saw 30 years back then? No? So there must be something wrong here. They like him because he engaged. But when you try to look into the real scenario, what's happening around, I mean, you try to assess yourself.
So, is there anything concrete that you're doing for the youth? Is there like any specific programs for the youth that the city has planned for them?
You know what? You let the youth do that.
Okay.
We were youth.
So you don't consider yourself youth anymore?
About 35, you're out of it. Man.
Okay, all right.
I'm 37, by the way.
Okay.
And
Yeah, 37 years ago.
It is not something that you want them to do.
Okay.
To me, I've been through this stage.
Okay.
Youth doesn't want to be dictated.
Okay.
You have to work to get what you want.
Yeah.
It's not you giving them the latitude.
Yeah.
For them, this is what you're gonna do. I mean, you do what you want.
The youth is one of the most interesting voters as well, right? And most interesting part of society these days, because they're very social media heavy, right? They use a lot of social media. They use a lot of Facebook. They use a lot of they use their cell phone. It's like attached to the hip. How has social media, how has technology, this age of information, helped you as a politician? Did it help you in winning elections? Did it help you in winning the hearts and minds of people when if you want something done? Or it's nowhere as influential as it is in some parts of the Western world, let's say in the United States, where everybody is just locked in Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Have we also reached that level of use that it can also influence elections here in Cebu, in the Philippines?
Well, it has its pros and cons. No?
Okay.
Like before, during our high school and college days, thinking of owning a phone and you can just carry it anywhere
Okay.
was like a futuristic thing.
Yeah.
No? But right now, everyone does have a phone and they connect with each other.
Okay.
But here's the thing. The very technology that is supposed to connect us is also the very technology that disconnect us.
Okay.
You go inside a restaurant, the first thing they order is not in the menu. They go look for a Wi-Fi. It's not in
Okay.
the menu. No? And then you just, if you are an observant, if you saw a lady went inside the restaurant, she took a phone and took a selfie, and then, she behaved strangely if you try to look
So
at it.
what connects us, which is the internet, is also what divides us.
Divide us. There's no more human touch anymore. You see kids when they go to
So is that
when they have a family dinner, they have their own gadget and
So
they
is it good for you as a politician? Is it good for us as a city to use this information and this whole technology addiction thing?
Yeah,
is it good or bad?
it's bad in a way that you lost human touch anymore.
How can we mitigate that? How can we
bridge the gap?
It should start in the family.
Okay.
Like kids nowadays, parents nowadays, if their babies are crying like 2, 3 years old, instead for them to go out to parks, try to make them dirty and everything, all they have to do is just give them a cell phone, or they give them a laptop or something for the kids to play with.
Okay.
And then they're used to it. They don't go out of the sun anymore.
Okay.
And then it starts from there. And then when you give them a gadget, they don't talk anymore. In having dinner or anything, they lost communication already.
So how do you?
Yeah. In a way, election, it does help us politicians, because instead of going from one place to another, and it will take time, travel and everything, at one instance you get a lot of audience. But there's also an accountability
So
there.
would you say that it has helped you as a politician
It-
get votes?
It helped us as a politician to be heard for a bigger audience.
Okay.
But at the same time, at the click of a finger,
Okay.
it could also destroy us because of this fake news and everything. It could also unmake you. So there's always the pros and cons. Technology is supposed to make our lives happy or everything. It could also work the other way around.
Is there a way in which we can sort of legislate maybe like a city ordinance of some sort to
No,
help
I-
mitigate the gap between that we have placed amongst ourselves because of technology? Because there are certain places I think it's in Baguio City that people are not allowed to text while walking in public places.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I mean, this is
Would
something.
you be able to do that?
You know what? To me, this is something that should supposed to be taught inside the family.
Okay.
There should be values in there. Like you don't let the city, educate.
Meddle,
It is something that good parenting should apply to kids. Like
But see the thing with YouTube and with all this technology, it has algorithms that they have programmed into the system that sort of draws you into the channel, into the web page, and you just go deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. And sometimes this is the main reason why you lose the connection, because they're so deep into the internet, right? And I think that is so powerful.
It's very
for
addictive.
us to leave it up to the family, because these algorithms, these bots, these software that they've created is so powerful that I don't think a parent will be equipped enough to sort of fight against it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
on that? That's got to be something that I
Well,
think can do.
other than that, I have never been to that area there. But it should be parenting in the number of hours that you use the technology.
Okay.
Start from little things,
Okay.
and when it gets so big now, it's very hard to control it.
Okay.
And that's the problem. That's where the problem lies.
Okay.
And then millennials or young people nowadays, or even old people, they're so hooked with the internet
Okay.
that there seems to be no life other than Facebook, other than the internet. No, they should explore. When I was a kid, we go out and play shatong, bagol-bagol, tago-tago, but you cannot see that around in our neighborhood nowadays. They just go to the internet. Like when we go out on a vacation, we are supposed to go to the beach. One thing that the kids want, where's the internet?
Yeah. Where's Wi-Fi?
Where's Wi-Fi? So they stay inside the room and then forget the beauty of the beaches or the mountains there. So there's a different perspective already.
But you don't think that the city should meddle into that, should get their hands into the whole internet thing? You don't believe that?
Because that's very impossible. You don't give that responsibility to the city, to the government.
Okay.
It should be within the family.
Okay.
Like for example, me, even our house, when we eat, I took all the cell phone.
You get all the cell phones.
The cell phone. In fact, there was a restaurant in New York, like they will give 20%
Discount
20% discount
if you don't use
if you don't use cell phone. Why? Because there was also a study that the service of the waiter degrade, it fell down,
Okay.
because instead of taking the orders from the other table, giving water, he was told to take pictures, and and all of them has their own cell phone.
It takes a little time.
Not little time.
A lot of
A
time.
lot of time.
All
A lot of
all
time.
those selfies that they have to take.
And then it seems to be normal, but that is not part of their service.
That's not their job.
That's not their job, no. But this is used to be abnormal, but people look at it as something that's normal. No, I mean we have to change that.
You know, let's talk about another problem, sir, because I think your position on that is the city can't do anything about that, at least for the time being. But maybe if I can show you how these algorithms work, and if I can show you how powerful YouTube is in drawing its viewers deep into their rabbit hole, I think you'll probably change your mind. But that's another story. Right?
Well, I'm open to that. Yeah. I'm open to that. But something that is doable at this point in time, I mean, I don't think.
What the city is facing that I have every single day is traffic, right? Traffic is horrendous. It is an odyssey to just go from one point to another. What normally takes 5-10 minutes will take an hour or two these days in Cebu City and in the neighboring component cities as well, like Mandaue City and Lapu-Lapu City. And it seems to me there's no solution in sight. Everybody is frustrated. You can see that on Facebook. Everybody's just so frustrated. You see cars parked on the side on the road. You know where it says no parking. Nobody has the discipline to help ease traffic congestion. We, it seems to me, have become victims of our own success. What are your thoughts on the traffic problem of Cebu City, and how can we solve this short term and long term? Start with the short term, maybe, perhaps.
Well, you know, we have the same road. The roads are not getting wider. We have roads, and every year, as per LTO, perhaps in Cebu City, we're like registering more than tens of thousands of vehicles a year.
This is Cebu City?
This is Cebu City. No? The same road that we are, you know, we're driving every day, you know. So, to me, the short of it, you know, if you look at our roads, there's no more sidewalk on the side, you know. And people, before they get from one point to another, instead of walking, they took a jeepney or anything, and then it will take them, you know, to reach.
Instead of walking,
you know,
there's no sidewalk.
They're
going to use the public transport, or maybe use their cars, right?
To me, restoring our sidewalks for people to walk, encouraging them to walk,
would be a short-term solution.
It might be a short-term solution, but it is a very efficient. You know, it's a very efficient solution.
Okay.
And look at our sidewalk. Is it possible? It's not even there. No? So, that alone, that not only entails a lot of political will, but also, you know, the people's conscience, those establishments who are along the sidewalk, along the road, they should give the sidewalk to the people there, to the pedestrians.
So, where are we now in that sidewalk project of yours? Are you optimistic about it? You think we will have enough sidewalks, cleaner, safer sidewalks that people will want to walk on? And in terms of, because you mentioned this is a short-term solution, right? On somebody, like, do you think this will be happening in the next couple of years here in Cebu City?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is there like a movement? Are you passing a bill or whatever?
You don't have to pass a bill. It's there already. It's just a matter of enforcing it.
Okay.
Enforcing it.
And then have the funds to
you know, I believe so. We have the funds as long as we are one in that direction.
Okay.
Because I tell you something, most of the accident that happen usually on school days and roads leading to our public schools.
Okay.
No, that alone.
Is there anybody resisting this project? Are there like pockets of resistance in the city council? Is the mayor on board? Is the vice mayor on board?
No.
So do you think this project will move forward? And
I think so.
Fast?
Even to me, even in the opposite side of the political fence in the council, I believe they will join.
Okay.
You know, I think
So you don't think there's any resistance?
it's a matter of enforcement, and I believe we're on that direction anymore. And then we need people's support there.
Which
You know,
one? What kind of support do you need? For
like for example, those establishments that are putting their wares encroaching the sidewalk.
Okay.
No, if they agree among themselves that, you know, we should give the sidewalk to the
But why do they need to agree or disagree? That's not their property.
You know what? Having them demolished and everything takes a lot of time.
Okay.
You know,
And resources.
resources.
But
And
that's,
then,
but that's not their property. That's the city's property. So if your building is encroaching the property of the city,
But
there's no
the-
ifs and buts, right?
yeah, but
What is the if and the but there?
there are also other instances, like if there's a road there, and then that was acquired by the city, and then the owners of the side of the road, they were not being paid
Okay.
when that road, for instance, was being acquired by the city.
Okay.
So realistically, they still own the
A lot of
property.
issues, right?
So that's why when there's widening in Manila, in
Yeah,
Abolo, it takes
A lot of time.
a lot of time because they go to courts because they are not being paid, or and then that takes the problem there. If they only see what is there for the city to
Can't you remunerate? Can't you pay the landowner, for example, whose house is being demolished, perhaps because you have to.
You know what,
widen the road?
you know what,
Is it just a matter of money? Does the government have enough money to pay these people?
yeah, it's easier said than
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Now, sometimes, I mean, most of the time, okay, pay us, that's no problem.
Yeah.
But then there's the problem about the price. Do we have to go for the zonal evaluation, or do we have to go for the market?
Okay.
No, so that's the thing. That's the thing.
But why can't you make an offer that they can't refuse? I mean, if it's for the betterment of the city, you pay double. I'll pay double.
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you fucking remove.
Yeah,
that-
but sometimes,
that-
but
house.
sometimes their counter offer is ridiculous.
Okay.
So that's why they resort to court.
Okay.
They resort, and that makes the in a snail pit. So if only if they will not only think about themselves.
Yeah,
If
you
only.
show them your vision. Because I have to be honest as well, right?
Uh-huh.
If it's road widening, it's not just, they're not losing a fraction of their property, which are going to be paid for anyway by the government. You're going to make lives of people around the area who will pass through that road better. Isn't that such a
Idea. Yes, it's good.
great thing for an individual to do?
Yeah.
To offer his property to make
the world a better.
Ideally, yeah.
Am I just?
I don't know.
Well,
We don't have people like that here anymore.
Yeah, but and we,
It sounds and looks so simple, right?
because we don't look at ourselves as part of a whole.
Okay.
We don't look ourselves as one.
Why don't we?
I
why
really don't
we
know.
Care? In other words, we don't.
Yeah,
care,
we
right?
don't care. We don't care.
Why don't we care?
I don't know.
What can make our people care?
Well, perhaps because of the long period of time of mistrust to government,
Okay.
mistrust to people around, discontent about what's going around.
Okay.
So pay taxes and I don't get enough in return.
Okay.
So perhaps that's the reason why I just take care of myself.
Okay.
So
So you're suggesting that a lot of us are selfish. We don't think of the greater good. We think of what's good for me and my family. And if this means retaining this house in the middle of the road, then let it be.
in a way,
Is that what you're
in a way, yes, but I don't blame them also. Perhaps they've been through a lot also of misgiving on the part of the government. Like, their garbage are not being picked up.
Okay.
Religion, something like that. So why would I help you guys when you're not also helping us? We're being shortchanged of the service that you're supposed to, guarantee. So there are a lot of factors. There are a lot.
Yeah, a lot of factors. It is a sort of like a comprehensive solution. There's no one solution, right?
And give you one
So
example.
you mentioned to us the short-term solution. What's the long-term, and how long-term is long-term? How many years are we talking about here?
You know
for the
what?
long-term solution
You know what?
of the traffic problem of Cebu City.
You know what? We don't have a mass transit.
Okay.
But I tell you, more than 100 years ago, early 1900,
Okay.
we already have a train
Okay.
from Cebu nga to Danao.
Okay.
That's a train, no? So we don't have it now. No, we might say that that's impossible, but 100 years ago we already have.
We had a
that.
train system.
We had a train system. That's very good because that was the American.
How long was the route?
That's around 90 kilometers.
90 kilometers.
80, 90 kilometers. We have a train way back then. no?
Wow.
That's why Carbon and the Pita, they are. And then there's a station we have where CCMC.
I know
right?
Opera is like they transferred a bunch of people who were displaced from a train system.
Yeah.
That's the origin of Opera.
That's
right?
one. That's one.
Railway something. That's what the acronym of Opera means, right?
And then when there was World War II,
Yeah.
Politicians then, I don't know the name who they are, instead of rehabilitating our railway, they're into the business of
Buses, right?
buses.
Mass transport.
Buses.
Okay.
So that's why, it was, they...
So are you
they did-
suggesting that we will revive that train system that we had 100 years ago?
Yeah.
And is that physically, is it financially, is it politically possible to have a train system here in Cebu?
It's the way to go.
Okay.
It's the way to go. In fact,
Where are we now in that project?
you know what, 25 years, we have the JICA, they call it the first corridor.
Okay.
They have this 21.5 kilometer mass transit that connect the city of Talisay, Mandaue, and Cebu City.
Okay, this was 25 years ago?
25 years ago. And then what transpired there, they agreed to have a mass transit, but they don't agree among each other on what type of mass transit.
Okay.
Talisay at that time, Gulyas, prefer an LRT. And then Mandaue at the time of Wano, prefer an LRT. It was then the mayor, then Osmena, who prefer for BRT.
Okay.
So how
So
can
three
they-
different solutions.
Two,
Two different solutions for one problem.
LRT,
Okay.
the two mayors are
Okay.
for LRT.
Okay.
And this mayor in between,
Okay.
these two LGUs,
Okay.
go for a BRT.
Okay.
So there was a
So they,
stalemate.
they could not agree
Agree
on,
on them.
on the solution to one problem, right?
Yeah.
So, why don't you put it into a vote of some sort? If it's a stalemate,
But it was a power play. It's politics that
I
played
know,
its
that's
role.
right. That's why it's
It was
frustrating.
a stalemate, and the government did not intervene.
That's why you
and
never
then-
get things done because
Yeah.
they disagree and
Why?
they don't do anything about
Yeah,
it.
why? Because they look at it like forgive me, but the mayor then look at it like, murag ija ra gyapon ba? Like I only look
I'm not
at,
going to make money off of this?
No. I only look at the city. And then I don't care about Mandaue, I don't care about Talisay. That's why the 21.5 kilometer supposedly that will connect the three LGUs of Mandaue, Talisay, ug Cebu, suksok gid diri sa Cebu City, which is from Pardo going to Talamban.
Okay, so again, let me just cut you short there, sir. Where are we now in that project? Is that project moving forward? Have we decided? Have the mayors already agreed on one solution?
I was the chair
Okay.
of the Committee on Transportation when
Okay.
I assumed in 2016.
Okay.
I said, since BRT is there, we go for it.
Okay.
No? And then there was a budget like a 1.5 billion for the road right of way acquisition.
Okay.
But then it ballooned to 7 billion
Okay.
because Congress acted like instead of paying those who will be affected using the zonal evaluation, it should be the fair market value.
Okay.
So it ballooned to 7 billion. I thought all the while that the widening will happen in the entire stretch of the 21.5 kilometer.
Okay.
It turned out that it only widens those where the station is.
Okay.
Just imagine our road in Ana, if there's a station, mubalon siya. It's like pregnant both sides.
Okay.
And then when we were trying to identify those that will be affected, I had a constant meeting with BRT proponents like Attorney Yap at that time. And here comes the project nga gi-implementar nila diha sa Mambaling, which is the tunnel.
Yeah. So.
It's a 700-meter project,
Yeah.
tunnel, 700,000 pesos in 700 days. And then when they put it there, it alters the distance between the different stations.
Okay.
It just so happened there was no
Coordination?
coordination
Okay.
between DPWH
Okay.
and that of the BRT proponent. It affected the distance. It
Okay.
affected the distance. And then when you talk about BRT, it's in the middle lane. It's in the middle lane, and that should be exclusive and dedicated to buses. No? And when you put a tunnel there, which happens in the middle lane, are they trying to say that that is an exclusive road for the bus? And when I called for an executive session, I told them, is that an exclusive tunnel for the bus? Because in the middle lane? And then they said, no, it can be, the public can also use it. BRT can only be efficient if it has a dedicated lane.
Okay.
Because there's a headway. Mura man na siya carousel magtuyok-tuyok. And if there are other
Structures, yeah.
no. If there are other vehicles in that lane,
Okay.
they cannot get the time, no, to be efficient.
Okay.
No, I've witnessed a BRT in Guangzhou, in Korea. It's supposed to be a wide road. Look what happened in Basak. It's a 6-lane. Because of the tunnel, it turned to 2 lanes.
So you're
what I'm
saying-
trying to say, BRT is no longer feasible.
Okay,
there.
okay.
It's not feasible. Even in Iscario and in Banilan.
Okay.
I talked to the proponent. From Ayala going to Talaban,
BRT is not-
that's a 4-lane.
It's not feasible. So what's the alternative?
The alternative, well, if you hear the office of the president in the Visayas, it is a combination of the different mass transit.
Which
it should be
are?
which are what do you call this? The train
Okay.
and the BRT.
Okay.
And then the first things to fix is we should connect the 3 LGUs.
Okay.
That's the first stage.
Meaning Mandaue, Cebu.
If you're a car owner, you have a vehicle, you don't have to take your car going to where you want to go. You just take a train because it's more efficient. It will give you to a particular place faster with no traffic. I mean that's something that you have to develop.
So that hybrid
No.
solution, are we moving forward with that?
Yes, before the end of the year.
Okay.
From what I've heard, everything is on plan.
So will we start construction soon, like within a
So,
year?
Yes,
Hopefully.
I'm very confident.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the meantime, are you saying that the sidewalk project will be done quicker than a year? And if so, will the traffic improve in the next few months? Because one of the things that I posted on my Facebook page a few months ago before Labelia came in was, the mayor that we have to elect has got to have a concrete solution, short-term and long-term, for the traffic situation, the traffic problem here in Cebu. Do you see any improvements in our traffic in the near term, sir? Meaning to say in the next 3-6 months to 1 year, or will it be status quo? Can we have like more traffic enforcers to enforce laws that are already there? People that are parked in the sidewalk at the side of the roads, can we make sure that they don't do that anymore? Can we have, make sure that the traffic lights don't go off like what happened a few days ago? Like, there are things that we can do now, right?
Yeah. You know what? In order for that to be done, you have to believe in it.
Okay.
Me as one of government leaders here in the city,
Okay.
you have to believe in that.
Okay.
In order for that to happen, and you have to believe in that. You have to be passive about it, and then.
And I think not just your belief, but also make sure that everybody believes in your vision as well.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of convincing as well, right? It's not just you, because if it's just you, nothing's gonna happen.
No.
Especially
Yeah, you
the
need
art
to-
of compromise. That's
yeah.
what politics is, right? So you have to make sure that everybody
It's
is on board.
Yeah, it's on board. It's on the same. Yes, it's on the same side there.
So
you have to.
is that happening?
It's gonna be happening. It's gonna be happening. It's gonna be happening.
Okay.
If you recall, there are a lot of clumping around, and that's a way of saying like we're
serious about this?
We're serious about this,
Okay.
and then give them time. Give them
Okay.
time.
Okay.
We're not here just to go on the other side. We have to do something.
Okay.
And then to me, this is one legacy that we have to live in our city. That we have to put order there, and it starts in the street, and it starts with garbage, start with flood. And one thing's leading to another, and if you try to think as a whole, perhaps we can achieve sooner
Okay.
to make our city livable.
Okay. Okay. I think we were. But we have to wrap it up, right? We'll have a little break. Huh? How many minutes more do we have?
Like, for around 1 hour and 20 minutes.
But we have a few more minutes left, right? So good. Like 20 minutes, 15 minutes? Okay, sorry guys, we were just interrupted by our director here. He says that we have a few more things left. And this Pilosopo podcast actually, Councilor, is a long form. What I wanted to do was really have an exhaustive conversation with people like you who are very interesting or very exciting. And I think I've already seen what your vision is. I know that you mean to try to change, make this city a better place. But I know you're also frustrated that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know that we have to consider a lot of things. It must be very stressful to be a public servant, right? And more so than being a private individual, being in the private sector. And what do you do to not lose your mind?
You know what? As a public servant and an elected public servant at that, you know, you don't have the luxury to be frustrated. You are there for the job, and then to get frustrated is something
You
that's
cannot
not good.
afford.
You cannot afford.
Okay.
You know, you have to have your patience. You have to move on and on, and then you know it's like simply lang way, like no, because of what's happening around, traffic, flood, garbage
Garbage,
everywhere.
yeah,
We think like that's normal already.
Okay.
And when the government start to enforce like clumping, making our roads free, people are complaining. You know, people are complaining that's not normal anymore. How come it's not normal when you free the road?
Wait a minute. It's not normal if you don't do it consistently.
Yeah.
So I think if you do it consistently, it becomes the normal, right? For example, katong naitabo sa Talamban, there was a time when they sort of removed the habal-habals from the side of the roads, which were always parked there. And they had operations there to sort of arrest them or maybe like impound the motorcycles. It was happening for a time. And I was happy because, you know, there are no more motorcycles on the side of the road and traffic was flowing smoothly in the area. Then it stopped. So, again, the motorcycles are back. So I think it boils down to consistency, right? It's about consistency. So kung mag-clamp lang kago sa kaadlaw lang and then make an operation for a 1 week, it's not normal. But if you do it every day consistently, it becomes the new normal. So people will not complain anymore. I'm sure there's always resistance to change, right? You know that. We all know that, right? But so I think it's the consistency in which we enforce laws is the problem. I think that's the problem.
Well, enforcement is one. But
Consistency.
when we talk about enforcement, consistency, yes,
Yeah.
that's the other side. But to those the would-be violators, if only they're being consistent not to violate, no, it took.
No, but they will not violate anymore if they know that they're going to be clamped, right?
Yeah, but you know,
It becomes a practice in their mind.
Yeah,
It becomes.
yeah.
I think discipline is also a habit. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
You cannot just discipline people immediately. It takes time for them
Takes
to
time.
understand your vision. And I think if you enforce the laws consistently, then it becomes their normal.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I am surprised
I
that
agree.
I am very surprised why there's a lot of people who are still parked at the side of the road when in fact it costs a lot of money to remove those clamps, right? And can the city afford more traffic enforcers or can't we afford more? That's why there's not enough enforcement. We cannot afford the payroll of so many traffic enforcers. What's the story behind?
Well, as it is right now, we're trying to fill up all these positions.
Okay.
No? And then they're trying to, pick the right people for the job.
Okay.
And then perhaps that's a good idea also. Like we might as well call for the executive session for this department.
Yeah.
Like, are we capable of enforcing the traffic rules here? Do we need more warm bodies to go
because
after?
I think the more people you have, the more fines, the more penalties you will be collecting from violators, and you can afford as many people as you want because there'll be more people who will catch people doing something illegal or doing something that's not that's against traffic laws.
That could be one approach also.
But I think it's really the consistency, right?
Yeah,
It's the consistency. I think when you say consistency, for example, this whole drug war thing, right? It's consistent. Pounding away every single day. And I think it becomes, sad to say, normal, right? Our eyes and our hearts have been numbed by violence because it's consistent. I'm not for what's going on in that department. But we're not talking about that. We're just talking about traffic. If we have the same consistency, I think things will be better.
Yeah. The part of the government, they have to be consistent, and then perhaps also the part of the community, they have also to be consistent in calling out all those enforcers and the government for doing their job. I mean, when someone is pounding, like you're not doing your job here,
Yeah.
perhaps that could also help.
Yeah.
Could also help.
Yeah.
People like you, people like that we don't deserve this kind of service.
Okay.
You have to be consistent in order to sustain something that we ought to achieve. No? So that's one. That's
Yeah.
one. And then deployment of more people, warm bodies, to regulate this.
Because
that's what-
I think that's where corruption comes in. If it's difficult to do something, right? If it's difficult to, let's say, get a business permit, if it's difficult to do this and do that, the gap between doing something is the opportunity for corruption, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if it takes, like, let's say, for example, 14 days, 100 days to whatever to do something, if you can shortcut that by paying somebody, then
Yeah, yeah.
that's where corruption comes in. So I think the faster, the more efficient we are as a government, as a city, the less corruption, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's it. I mean, when you talk about issuance of a business permit, that's where corruption starts.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of middle persons there who are giving you a quick way of having things done. So that's where
The fixer, they call
the
it, right?
fixer, and then fixers cannot exist with if not they're in cahoots with those who are in charge.
Yes, of course, for sure.
in the office, no. So and then the mayor said already that in 3 days, as long as everything is in order, you can get your business permit.
Okay.
And that's something we will look forward to.
In 3
And that-
days.
and that's something that we, people should also monitor. We deserve that, And then I myself, I have friends who are even in high place in the economic strata. They get their things done, no? Like it took them like months and even years to get an OBO permit, to get a business permit. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong, and that is what we're trying to fix here.
Our president now, Duterte, came into power because of the frustrations of the people, right? It was accumulating, nothing seems to be improving and all that stuff, and we hit a tipping point, and we
Choose him.
elevated him into power, at least 38% of the Philippines. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen to the city as well. There's nothing that's going to happen substantially. I'm hoping that the kind of change that we elevated nationally will also
Trickle down.
locally here. Do you see a disconnect, sir, of national change and local change? Is national change very evident because you see that in the news all the time, but locally it's the same status quo because we don't have Duterte as our mayor. Of course, Labella is our mayor. I don't know Labella as much as I would like to know him, but do you think that the change nationally will also trickle down, or in fact also be similar, if not the same, as the changes we have here in Cebu City?
Well, when we talk in the area of peace and order, it
Yeah.
has changed a lot.
Yeah, okay.
It has changed a lot. Policemen are now more disciplined than
Okay.
before.
Okay.
And then people seem to trust the police more than before.
Okay.
And then you can see them around. They're very visible already. And then they're more disciplined. I can safely say that because I'm also the chairman of the
Okay.
Cebu City Police Advisory Council.
Okay,
And then
okay.
as it is right now, there's a very big impact when it comes to the peace and order situation.
Okay.
So everything has to follow. From
How about traffic? How about the discipline of the Cebuanos? Like, have we tamed? Have we whipped them into shape as motorists? And why not? I mean, like, if you have a strong will, I think you can discipline them by enforcing these laws that are already just there and not being implemented.
I still have to see that.
Okay.
Right now, I haven't.
But
seen
but
changes.
but why would that be a difficult thing to do? Why would that be a difficult thing to do, enforcing laws that are already there?
No, I don't think that's a difficult thing to do. Give this administration a chance
Okay.
to
Of course,
to
yeah.
enforce that.
I'm not saying he can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm just saying
No.
we were frustrated, and then we don't want to be frustrated again. Because,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As
Because
a
if we
as a
cannot
people.
do something in that regard for the next 3 years, then what business do I have to stay here longer?
yeah.
Right? No?
Yeah. You were number 8 in the last election, and you're also sort of at the tail end of the councilors, right? Do you attribute your not do you attribute your lack of popularity to the fact that you really do what you feel is right for your people and not what's popular for your people? Would you say that?
I don't mind the popularity.
That's
there.
why
I just want things get done.
Do you think that's why you're there at number 8?
You
You're not as popular as some councilors because you just do what you want to do and what is good for Cebu and not what is popular for Cebu.
Popularity, perhaps it gets you, but it doesn't bring the goodness of the city there.
Okay.
Like I'm more than willing to take a stand, and then doesn't matter if I'm making a popular or not, as long as it gets done, and then it will redound to the benefit of the city.
Okay.
No. I'm used to that. I'm used to make a stand when it comes to peace and order. When it comes to environment, I'm used to make a stand.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect me. If it's popular or not, people, will judge me. Perhaps not now.
So you've done unpopular things in your political life. What's the most unpopular thing that you did in your political life?
It's not really unpopular, but when you're against a giant political figure,
like Mayor Tommy Osmena.
Yeah.
Okay.
No matter how good is your stand, it becomes unpopular.
Yeah, of course,
if it is compared to him.
Yeah.
So that might sound unpopular, but then it's the right thing.
Okay, that's the right thing to do.
And when you are being consistent, you go for it, and then ultimately it has its own reward.
We only have a few more minutes left, sir, but I just wanted to ask this question before we end this interview. We have a lot of kids, we have a lot of young people listening, watching us today at the Passion TV, Passion Cafe TV, and as well as my Facebook page. Do you advise them to become public servants? Do you advise them to run for councilor, for mayor, for whatever position in government? And if so, what is your message to them? Why should I take up public service? Why not, be a doctor or be a lawyer or be an astronaut or whatever? Why should I go into public service? Talk to them.
When you talk about public service, you don't have to run.
Okay.
But public service is everyone's business.
Okay.
If only we're doing our part in this society, then we're doing public service.
Okay.
Like, it's very normal for us to just throw our wrappers around, not knowing that this wrapper, no matter how small it is, it will go down to our rivers, and it adds problem during flood.
Okay.
So we have different assignment, and if only we do it right, that's our contribution to public service. Just because I'm an elected public servant, I have the sole authority to practice it. No, all of us.
All of us are public servants, right?
Yeah, all of us. As long as we do something
But
good for the public.
Would you encourage?
Like driving for one. If you go to the other lane, and then when you meet the other cars there, and you created a congestion there, you created a traffic there, you're not doing good for the traffic there. You're not doing good for the public. No, if you obey traffic rules, that's good public service. If you put your garbage in where they're supposed to be, you put your garbage out at the time, that's good public service.
Okay.
And then when you free your establishment, the sidewalk where young kids are supposed to walk, if you free them and then give that space to the public, and then that's good public service.
Because I think public service is about benefiting the most number of people, right?
Yes.
And if your act will benefit or make lives easier for more people than yourself, then I think that's, in a way, a form of public service. So that's what you're telling them.
Yes, that's.
They don't have to go into politics. They don't have to run for office.
Yeah.
They can just do in their own little way.
That's your
their
way
little
of
public
helping the
service,
public.
right?
Yeah.
But do you encourage them to run for office? Would you encourage them to run for office? Is this a good way to make a living? Is it a good way to live a life in public service? What would you tell those who are still in school, perhaps watching this interview right now?
You know what? I have 4 kids.
Okay.
And I told them never follow my footsteps.
Why not?
Never. Tell you frankly, I've been in politics for 30 years.
Okay.
And then I don't even have my own house.
Okay.
No, the meager resources that I receive in government, because I really do service 100%.
Okay.
I don't want like, you have something that will preoccupy your being a public servant.
Okay.
And I'm poor. I'm the poorest councilor in the city of Cebu.
Okay.
And that's who I am.
Mhm.
And then I told them, no, you take up law, you take up something that could benefit your family.
Okay.
No, that you could give a good, future for your own family. And then, when they were born, I was already a barangay captain. So
Okay.
the only nice thing about it, because they got to picture their feelings for others. Their concern for others. My kids, not for anything else, but they really have concern for public.
Sympathy.
There's sympathy.
There-
They understand the real world there.
Okay.
And that is something money can buy. They don't only talk about their personal service, their personal convenience. The public seems to be inculcated in their minds that they have to take care of.
So that they just can't do anything without thinking about the greater good, right?
Yeah. And that perhaps that's the thing that I
So you discouraged your kids from becoming public servants. Is that what you're saying?
No,
From
getting
running
into elected public
getting into
position.
politics.
Yeah. You can do public
but
good without.
are they responding to your discouraging them, or are they fighting back and telling you, hey, Dad, I want to be like you?
No. There's no conflict. About
Okay,
it.
okay.
There's no conflict.
Okay.
There seem to be like,
I'm
one politician, one public servant in the family elected at that is good enough.
Okay.
It's good enough. And then, I don't have to share it here. Like, they've been experiencing and witnessing it up close and personal. Like, sometimes our electric been cut off, our water been cut off. They need to pay. They need to bring some promissory note to their school for them to take the exam. They've been through that. you know?
Okay.
And then if perhaps I could have a better profession, good economic return, then they should not be experiencing that. But then again, it's one way of making them feel like, this is the life. No?
Okay.
It's not always like you're in a better situation there, better. Like they get to experience, what's down there. Because you will only appreciate what's life up here
Okay.
if you know what's
down here.
it's like down there. And they've been, it's a series of ups and downs. And then one thing like, they know what's life.
Okay.
Not only the good life, but the other side.
That really comes as a shocker, sir, because I've always thought that you would encourage them, our viewers, to become politicians. But at least your message is that you don't have to be in politics, you just be in public service. And you can be a public servant in your own little way, in your own barangay, in your own house, in your own street, in your own park, wherever it is that you can do something for the greater good. I think that's public service, right?
And in addition to that, Jiggy, I believe we can accomplish a lot as long as we don't care who gets the credit.
Okay.
That's the problem now. That's problem with politician.
Who gets the credit?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's it. That's if only we disassociate from that. We just get things done so that the public can enjoy. And never mind the credit.
Okay, before you go, before I let you go, Joel, Councilor Joel Garganera, Tommy Osmena, your opponent, obviously is no longer mayor. So, murag wa na kay awayon ba? Don't you feel kind of lonely now? Are you gonna pick a fight on somebody else instead? What's gonna happen to you? What do you envision your next few years in the city council? What naman kay kaaway? So,
No,
makita na sa kagawing lain.
No. It's like this. The reason why we're we're
The opposing
the
side.
because of certain issues.
Yeah.
And it's not me against him personally.
Personally, okay.
I know.
It wasn't personal.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
There are things that we don't believe the same way.
Yeah, but lagi wala naman siya. So, someone like, are you gonna look?
Well, one thing for sure.
Didn't that spice up your political life? That's what I'm trying to say. And aren't you gonna look for something spicy again, or long for it at least? Someone.
I've been through all that. I've been through all that.
Like you said,
know,
you've been charged for you've been in court for 4 times. So you
11
mentioned? 11 times.
I have 11 warrant of arrest.
11 warrants of
I
arrest.
have to put up like more than $500,000 for my bail and
Okay,
everything.
okay.
And then I've been through the toughest part in public
So
service.
are you softening?
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's just that I must say I learned a lot also from
Okay.
him.
Okay.
You know, I have also to give him the credit because it makes me who I am today.
No,
Because
but what I'm trying to say is, are you going to be as tough as you were when he was around, and with anybody who you think is doing the wrong thing? Are you going to oppose him with the same vigor as you opposed him when he was mayor? If, for
Well-
example, Labella does something that you do not like, will you oppose him?
yes, yes, and I think Alabella will also encourage that.
Okay.
You know, it will also encourage us
Yeah.
to be proactive. you know.
Encourage dissent, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the best decisions are made from great debates, right? And that's one of the big problems of our society these days. We don't hash it out. We don't talk about it in a public forum, in a public square. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is I want healthy arguments, healthy debates, violent words thrown at each other. But at the end of the day, you know, we shake each other's hands.
Yeah, we live in the same city.
Yeah, we live in the same city,
Yeah.
and you know, we were just talking. We're not gonna kill each other. We're just talking. You know what I mean?
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Do you think the city council will still have those healthy debates, healthy arguments,
yes,
or
yes.
or will this be a more contained, more tame city council?
I think there's gonna be debate there. There's gonna be debate, and we encourage that.
Okay.
It's the way to look for
The best decision.
For the best decision.
The
There will be
yeah,
know
the best
opposing-
decisions come out of great debates,
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
said.
yeah.
And if you don't have a great debate, there's no great decision.
So what's the use of having a council there if you
Yeah.
don't interact, if you
Yeah.
don't debate, if you don't argue
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
No, I mean, you look at it as a healthy way
Yeah.
of coming up with the right decision.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the best for the city.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging that, and I think the mayor loves that. also.
Okay. Okay.
Because the mayor is a good debater, as you can see
Yeah, of
in
course,
the last
yeah.
debate.
Yeah, of course. So, Joel, I will let you go, but before you do that, why don't you tell us, maybe in a nutshell, in a quote, or maybe perhaps in a line or two, what your vision is of this for the city of Cebu. You know, if you need to quote somebody, go ahead. But overall, what do you want to happen in Cebu in the next few years while you are a city councilor, even after you end your term as city councilor? What is your vision? What's your vision for Cebu City?
Well, I want people to be vigilant. Like sometimes it's already normal for us to experience traffic every day. It's already normal for us to walk on the road instead of the sidewalk. It's normal for us to be flooded during not only heavy rain but during rain. And I want that dissent. I want people to
protest.
To protest.
Yeah.
I want people to pressure their government. Pressure those whoever in charge that you don't deserve this. You know?
Be outraged, right?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I want them to be activists.
Exactly. That's the word I
So
was
to
looking
speak.
at. Yeah.
I want them to be activists.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong to be active
Yeah.
about certain issues.
Yeah.
And perhaps this is the way where we can achieve
A better society,
The
right?
better soc- yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be active. You have to speak out what you want.
Okay.
This is no longer normal.
Okay.
Flood traffic. This is no longer normal. We don't deserve this.
If you don't feel that it's normal, post it on Facebook and show it to them, right?
Yeah. Why not? I encourage that for us to do something and
How
for
about
us to-
organize a protest, for example? You have that too, like the way they do it in Hong Kong these days? There was a time that was us too as a people, right?
Yeah, we were there.
We were good at taking it to the streets. What happened to that Filipino?
when
We got scared? What? We got comfortable? We got rich? What happened to that?
gone.
Huh?
It's simply disappear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from
You have to be-
Councilor Joel Garganera. You go out there and let your voice be heard.
Yes.
There's a platform now called Facebook, called social media. You can do that there as well. Or you can do the good old traditional way and just simply gather your friends in a public square, in a public place, and show them your discontent, your heart aches,
Yeah.
Let them be heard, because I think Joel and the city will be listening
Yeah.
to you guys, because sometimes if you don't protest, you don't know what's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's crucial for us to make ourselves be heard in a public square, in a social media platform, whatever, right?
Yes. And then, we're not onion skin at
Okay.
that. No? We should not be in public service if we're onion skin.
Okay.
We might differ in our views, but, we should not, as I said before, we should not look at each other, complain at each other, but we should look forward together, just like love, in one direction. And that is for the good of the city of Cebu.
All right, I think we'll end it with that. Thank you so much, Joel. Thank you so much. I was hoping that we'd come to blows, but unfortunately, I could not find something that I would disagree about with you as much as I would like to.
Well, we were coined the same. No?
Yeah,
we're
same-
Santo Niño
oh,
and
no.
UP.
Oh no. Anyway, I'm sure I'm going to be following your career. I'm going to be following your moves in City Hall.
But don't go into public service.
Don't
be
worry.
elected.
This is already a form of public service.
Okay, good.
But I think I will follow your career in City Hall, and I'm
Sure,
going to make
sure.
sure if you make one false move, I'll call you out. Okay? I'll call you out.
I'm
Mark
looking
my
forward.
words,
I'm
okay?
looking forward to that.
And I'm going to interview you again here and talk to. Well, we're going to hatch it out here. Yeah.
But then, in the meantime, you better visit that place in Plaza Independence.
I will. And,
You go. You
And
bring all
where all
entire team
the
here.
real Pilosopos are.
Yeah, dito yun.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been the Pilosopo podcast. My name is Jiggy.